Good morning. I think I clicked unmute as it was automatically unmuting. I'm a bit murky today. I don't know why. I already tried to start this live stream and I felt like it looked a bit odd. Anyway, we'll just accept that I'm a bit murky. Actually, I wonder if is it this? Is it this? Could be. No, don't know. Don't know why. Anyway, hello, happy Monday. I hope you're all right. I am looking forward to a week of writing. To say apologies, I'm a little bit late. I was helping a friend with a garage and I'm a little bit dusty and things. But yeah, so that's why we didn't start at 9:30 as usual. It's 5 to 10. Apologies. Just life. Life is lifing. That said, as I said last week, I'm looking forward to just a quieter time period at the moment and some writing. My plans today, although I want to carry on with my karate book that I've been working on, that's the main thing I'm doing. I also have some notes that I want to have a quick look at about an old project. So I'm actually going to start with that and just sort of look over what I have, because I have a manuscript that I might send to be edited in amongst all the other bits and pieces I'm working on. Essentially, right now, I am waiting for the go-ahead on the next Natural England project. And in the meantime, I'm just playing with essentially 3 right now. It has been 2, but 3 now probably projects, a children's book and 2 adults books, as I feel inspired to do so. And feeling my way towards which one might be ready to be published, because my novel just needs a lot of development. Although I made myself some notes at the weekend because I had a sudden brainwave of what could really help the plot. I was reading something else, a fiction book, and one of the elements actually kind of solved an issue I'd been having with my book, and I was like, oh, I could use that plot point. Completely different kind of book, not in the same realm at all. It was like just fiction, just like a regular fiction book. Like I'm trying to think what genre you would put it in. I don't really know. Just general non-fiction, fiction. And yeah, mine's like contemporary fantasy. But yeah, one of their plot points kind of translated into what I'm doing. And I thought, oh, that actually could solve some things. Anyway, so there's that on that one. But that one I know just needs so much development on the storyline. I've got then the new karate book that I'm working on, because it's nice to also be writing as well as editing, depending on sort of the energy I'm feeling. And now I have a bit more time. I'm kind of hoping to do both every day. So spend some time writing, spend some time editing. So both of those are being developed. But I also have a children's book that I'd previously written that I just wanted to have a look at this morning and see if I'm going to push that one further. And all those 3 projects could happen in any order and also not happen at all. And for me, that's kind of the way things are working right now. I feel like every other project I've done, aside from the Natural England ones, so the ones that are published from my own wanting to push something through, those have all been the thing that just feels right to publish next. And I think at the moment, I'm just not sure because none of them are ready. None of them are at that point where I think, yes, final stretch, let's go. They're all in different states and none of them are that close to like needing to be like beta read or anything like that. So I'm playing right now. I have been for the last 6 months. If you've been joining me on these writing sprints, you'll know that I've been kind of flip-flopping between different projects. And I'm happy with that. And that could continue for a while. And as I say, once the Natural England project comes in, then that's what I'll be doing. But in the meantime, I'm just sort of deciding, because the Natural England project will be published according to like their deadline. So then my own project will be when I have time and feel like it. And that could be a really long time scale. And I'm fine with that. I'm just enjoying doing it. So that's what I'm doing today. Let's get on with it. And leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing, what you're writing. Let's do our first 15 minutes. So we do 15-minute, if you haven't joined us before, 3 15-minute writing sprints over the course of an hour. So we'll be back in 15 minutes for a chat. I'll put the banner up and I'm going to crack on. See you all in a bit. Oh, there we go. I was talking, I realized I was muted. It's our writing break. How did that go? I had a really good session. I can't believe it's been 15 minutes. Do you know, I find the time so odd. I'm sure we all do. When I'm really absorbed in something, how can that have taken 15 minutes? I was reading through an old children's book, and isn't it funny how our writing changes? This is something that I wrote probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I have just sat waiting for the right time to do something with. And it's funny reading through it and seeing some of the things that I would do differently now, but then also seeing other bits where I'm like, oh, that's good. I like that bit. I was thinking that literally I would just skim through this. It would take me 5 minutes. And then I would think, I think I'll send that to betas, or I'll send that to an editor, like see how it's looking. I think I'm going to send it to betas. And then I'd spend the rest of our writing sprints today doing something else. But actually, I might end up doing this for the whole time, because I'm just working through it and just looking at the rhyming scheme and the rhythm and the punctuation and stuff. And it does need a little polish before I do anything with it. So I don't know if that will be my next 15 minutes or the next 15 minutes. I might not open the karate book at all. So that's funny. It's really interesting to look at this. Yeah, I can't really say too much about it. It's something that I just parked, and I think I might do something with, and I don't know when. And I tell you what the time scale is, and obviously everything has to fit around Natural England. But what I've got is definitely workable. It's quite exciting. But yeah, do you know? Because this one's written in rhyme. I only have one children's book that isn't written in rhyme. I like a rhyming scheme. And there's a couple of bits that are like clumsy, only a couple, maybe sort of 2 or 3 bits where I'm like, oh, I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure you all know what I mean. When you read a book, generally you don't see it that much in traditionally published children's books. But there's 1 or 2 that I can think of. I'm not going to name any names, where every time I read it to my kid, I'm like, oh, that's clumsy. And some books that sort of could do with a bit more editing, you see it in sometimes. Because I think an editor would pick it up and go, that doesn't really, when a rhyme is forced, it doesn't feel like natural language, or I don't know. There's something that artistically just doesn't sit quite right. And yeah, there's a couple of instances like that, in my opinion. Yeah, it's really interesting to like look at something I haven't looked at and that hasn't been through an editing process. It was just something I wrote and was like tentatively deciding what to do with. So yeah, it's like looking at your past self. It's like a time capsule. It's really interesting. So I think my next 15 minutes, I'm gonna do another run through, at least 1, maybe 2, and decide what I'm going to do with it. And then, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if in the last 15 minutes I'll go back to my karate book, because I'm in a research phase on that. Last week, I ended up doing 2 days teaching. I thought I would only do 1. And then on Friday, I had a hair appointment, which took up a couple of hours, and then a consultancy call. And these things, although they're wonderful, they obviously take up some time. And, that always, like any of these things, impact on my writing time. So I didn't get as much done last week as I would have liked. At this point, I don't know how this week is panning out, because I haven't got anything booked in other than some like personal, family appointment type things this week. The thing is, I'm trying to teach as much as I can, because when I get the go ahead on the Natural England book, I'm going to need to focus on that. So these like writing projects that are completely mine rather than the ones with Natural England, because they're so open-ended, it does just mean like there's also no kind of priority, because I haven't set any kind of date or schedule, or because they're just not that far through. So it's it probably feels, if you've joined a few of these writing sprints, that I do kind of flip-flop about a little bit, but that is because I just haven't decided. As soon as I've gone out, I'm doing this, then that will be my total focus. Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. Let's do another writing sprint. Let me know how it's going. I'm gonna change to that banner and I'm gonna get back into it because it's really fun and interesting. Right, I'm gonna mute myself. See you in 15 minutes. All right, there we go. That was another 15 minutes. How can that have been 15 minutes? Again, I just feel like it's just shot by. I'm still just working through the same thing, but I'm having a lovely time doing it. It is a pleasant bit of writing today. What are you up to? What are you working on today? I think I'm just going to keep on with this. Do you know one thing that I find quite difficult? If I wasn't live streaming, I tend to like read bits out loud to see how they sound, but it would be really weird if I was on here just like talking to myself. Aside from when you might see me putting music on or talking to the dog or something. Yeah, I just feel like I don't want to be sat here talking to myself. But actually, often that's how I will edit something. I will read it through to see how it runs and try the feel and sound of words in my mouth, because I feel like that's different than it running through your brain. So I do sometimes when I'm editing rather than writing. So when I'm writing, I'm just like getting the words down. But when I'm editing, then it helps me to read it if I speak parts of it out loud. So I do find that quite odd. But anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying kind of working through this, and I'm just checking some facts as well, because as you know, my books have always got a few facts in them. It is nice when you're working on a bit of writing that you think is really fun and interesting. So yeah, as I say, I'm kind of hoping. Oh, it's always a weird one. I've talked about this a few times on live streams and things, but I'm always torn between the fact that I do like teaching and that I it's helpful financially, obviously, to be in schools, and the fact that I would quite like to be at home working on projects. So I'm like torn in two directions of what I want to do. I could do with an extra couple of days a week. If that could be arranged, if we could have like maybe a 10-day week, and perhaps we have 4 days on, then a day break, and then maybe 3 days, and then 2-day break, or something like that. Like, could we change the working week? Or we have like 4 days on, 1 day off, 4 days on. Does that add up? Yeah. Let's restructure the working week just for me. And the thing is, what's quite tricky for me is because I have to work during the school day, that can make it quite hard to like fit everything in sometimes. But there we are. It is what it is. It's just kind of trying to make it work and balance well. This week, actually, I've made the decision. You may know if you've joined my live streams before that on a Monday I typically volunteer in the afternoons, but today I'm not going to go. They can manage without me, and I've got some other bits I really need to do that are kind of related to my volunteer work, but also just busy. Basically the volunteer bits that I'm going to do, I can also be sort of writing alongside it, and I just really could do with some catch up. So yeah, as I look at my week, I always feel a bit torn between it'd be really great to do a couple of days teaching this week, and it'd be really great to do some writing this week. So yeah, it's a funny one. Sorry, I got distracted. We're trying to sort out our colouring pencils and our writing pencils. We have loads. They're all in front of me in a big old pile, because every now and again I go through them all where the kids like break them or they get blunt because they're being used, and they end up in the wrong places as well. And then everyone's like, I can't find a pen. And I put this on TikTok because my TikTok is nothing if not fun. Bought a new pencil sharpener, which is also right next to me, because when you're using like a little manual one, I get blisters on my fingers because we have that many pencils. So when I have a session where I sit here and sort them all out, and also the sharpenings go everywhere. So I treated myself to a fancy pencil sharpener, but also the kids are quite excited about using this. So maybe they will actually sharpen their own pencils once in a while. We have a lot of pencils, not just colouring pencils, just ordinary pencils. And I actually tend to write, this is a real cool story, I know. I tend to write in pencil a lot rather than in pen, because I feel like I could probably write everything I ever write handwritten in pencil and still not use all the pencils that I have. And rather than like using up biros and stuff that just get binned, like a pencil is just made of wood, right? So I feel like it's a more sustainable option. So my notes at home and pretty much anything that I write that isn't an official form, I write in pencil. But then they all get blunt. What a cool story. I've got an email. How exciting. Right, let's do some more writing. I'm going to put myself on mute again, as always. Let's do our last 15 minutes. I'll see you back here shortly. Enjoy. All right, there we go. That was the last 15 minutes. I suppose it's not a break, is it? Let's just put that there. Yeah, excellent. I'm still going. I'm going to spend a bit more time looking through this manuscript. There's one particular bit that factually is not quite right. And I'm just, because obviously when you change something, if it's in rhyme, that's not as easy as just making a change. You've got to make it rhyme again. So that's what I am up to right now. And yeah, I'm going to carry on with that. I need to hang out my washing. Exciting times. And then, as I say, I'm spending the afternoon in today to catch up on some bits and pieces. They're all right without me at group today. So yeah, it's just always prioritizing, isn't it? And I think when you're busy, it can be really hard to kind of, and there's things you want to do. So like I'd like to go to group, but I also need to get on top of things so they don't stress me out. It's difficult. It's a balancing act, but that's the plan today. And then, as I say, at this point, no idea how my week will pan out, which, as I say, can be tricky when you're sat there and you think, I don't know if I'm going to be in my house tomorrow or not. I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is you may have noticed I disappeared. If you were watching the screen, I got an order. So next week we're having a new bathroom put in and all the stuff is starting to arrive. I should be able to live stream next Monday. Then I'm not sure after that because we'll have builders in. Do you know what part of it? It's not just the noise, because it could be really, really noisy, but also, will they think I'm weird? And does it matter that they think I'm weird? But if I'm sat here just chatting to my laptop, talking to myself, essentially. Yeah, is that odd? I don't know. There's a week coming up where I'm busy on the Monday as well. I am still deciding, actually, I have to say, whether I'm going to keep doing these live streams. I do like them, but not super busy. There's not loads of you sat here. Sometimes I'm here on my own, which is totally cool. But I do like the accountability of doing this. And I know that some of you do pop in and do a bit of writing. Let me know. If you want them to continue, let me know and I will. Can't make my mind up. As I think we've gathered from this live stream, I'm always kind of reflecting and analysing and deciding how I move forward, and things change. But yeah, let me know. Happy to keep going if you enjoy it. And I just apologise that I'm not always 100% reliable. Anyway, I am going to go so that I can sit and mutter to myself as I run through editing this story. I'm having fun doing it. Have a lovely day. What have you got planned today and this week? Let me know. And as I say, I really hope this was useful. I certainly found it useful, so that's really good. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. There'll be another video coming this week, one of two, not entirely sure which I'm going to make. And then I have such a long list of videos. I had a real inspiring couple of days where, lots of ideas just landed that I think you guys are really going to like. So I've probably got about 15 videos on my list at the moment. I've got big plans, you guys. So also, I'm trying to think ahead because the summer holidays, which are imminent, become very difficult. So I want to try and pre-film probably about 3 or 4 videos to help get me through. Because filming can be difficult. The editing and that isn't, but the filming, to be honest, my kids are pretty good. If I'm like, look, I need to use this space and I need it to be quite quiet, can you go do X, Y, Z? They're pretty good, but it can be difficult. And they're not always conscious that they're making noise, if that makes sense. Sorry, WhatsApp is open. Yeah, they're not always conscious that they're doing it. So even if they're trying to be quiet, they might be banging about or something, and it's just difficult because often there's things I need to do. And again, I don't know how the live streaming will work. They would quite happily just disappear if I asked them to. You might hear them bumbling about, but I don't know how easy it's going to be to sort of maintain it. So we'll see. Everything is a we'll see, and I'm trying to plan ahead, trying to make sure that all my YouTube bits can continue quite easily, and the writing projects, if I've got enough time it depends how much childcare I've got, and it depends how amenable the kids are to, like, can you go do something for 2 hours while I do this or whatever, you know. But we'll see. So I'm sort of planning ahead. I think that's part of the sort of wishy-washiness of things at the moment, is because there's that like vacuum of time. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Have a lovely week, and I should see you again this time next week. Take care.